see you. Starting off with that decision to unbundle the power sector, is it reflective of perhaps, uncannily now, a reflection on whether or not they got the privatization wrong over the years, which has now led to a rethinking of the decision to unbundle the power sector, power distribution companies? And will it lead to efficiency anyway, which is what Nigerians desire?
Okay, thank you very much. First, I would say it's an evolution. Secondly, I would say there is some misunderstanding of context. I do not think the federal government is unbundling the distribution companies. This is what is happening. The constitution changed. First, power has always been a concurrent item. It's just that the powers of state legislatures was limited to areas not covered by the national grid system. Now, with the amendment to that constitution signed off by the previous President Buhari, states can now legislate on generation, transmission, and distribution for the entirety of their state, provided it's within that state. With that, on the back of that, we then had the Electricity Act, stating that providing the process or procedure for states to take over their electricity issues and create an electricity market within their state and then regulate that electricity market. Now, if you look at the process, one of the steps is for the distribution company or licensee, rather, covering that state to establish a subsidiary for that state alone. Now, many times the minister speaks, I think people take it out of context or do not understand, because for everything you do, there must be a legal basis. The government cannot just wake up and say, we're unbundling distribution. The question you ask is, where is that law to give you the powers to do that, right? What you have is that, and I'm sure you've seen some of these orders, the one for Enugu, for Ondo, and for, I think, Ekiti, where each of them can now take over the electricity sector, and they require, and the law, Electricity Act, requires that the distribution licensee for each of those states should set up a company that will be for just that state and will be regulated by the state electricity regulator. So I do not think that context is right. The context is that they have an obligation to do that. It's not the federal government unbundling in that sense. But yes, it's evolution. The law has to evolve to where you have energy federalism, unlike what we had, where we had a centralized system and there were challenges. Question, though, is that we need to be careful, understand the issues, and not replicate the problem in 37 places or 36 places, as it were.